Welcome to the Pickleball Recovery Podcast, where we highlight products and practices to help you feel better faster, so you can spend less time stiff, sore, and injured, and more time on the court doing what you love. This podcast is sponsored by AlloMD. Don't just mask pain, eliminate it. AlloMD provides intense relief and advances continual repair for both acute injuries and chronic pain. All-natural, patented technology developed by doctors to get you back in the game fast without the use of opioids, steroids, or NSAIDs. AlloMD, harnessing the power of pure natural ingredients that provide deep, penetrating repair. Patented, validated, natural. Learn more at www.allomd.com and make sure to use the discount code PBR at checkout to save $5 off your order. What's up? Welcome to another episode of Pickleball Recovery. I'm your host, Tim Ringgold. It is great to be with you. And there's a little sing song in my voice because guess who is playing pickleball again? This guy. That's right. Returned to the court last week. The PPA Takea Showcase was here in town at my local club. And I was working the booth for Ultimate Repair X and decided, let's bring my shoes and my paddle and maybe get out there for a little rec play in the afternoons. So I did. I played a few games on Friday, played a few games on Sunday. And then Tuesday this week, went out and played like some real 5-0, pickleball. Woo, that was rough. Welcome back. And then rejoined up with my Wednesday live ball group yesterday. And so I'm back at it. I am definitely rusty, and that's to be expected after 3 months of not playing. But, there's plenty still in the system. I'm moving well, having to wear earplugs for the most part, although I didn't during live ball yesterday. So that was encouraging. It depends on the environment. I'm still struggling with sound sensitivity. And so I just have to basically bring earplugs everywhere I go. And if it's too loud, put them in. No, so be it. But let's get into it, right? So today's interview, I'm so excited about this. I mean, I say I'm excited about every interview, and I am, because when I find, that I get to have a really cool conversation on a particular topic that I think will help you, that excites me, because that's the whole point of the podcast, is to share the things I'm discovering and the things other people know or other people do to make your experience playing pickleball more fulfilling, more satisfying, more fun. Because when you move better, you play better, and when you feel better, you're happier. So this interview today, strap in, buckle up, because we are going to go down some pretty insane pathways. That's a kind of a trailer, because I'm interviewing the president or CEO of NuCalm, Mr. Jim Poole. And Jim is a pretty smart guy, very cool, very down to earth, but pretty smart guy. We're going to be talking about a revolutionary, and I don't mean that in like hype, like legit revolutionary app that is now out, that has spent decades in development and in kind of private use, and now is available to the public. And I've been able to use it now since my head injury in May, and it's extraordinary. And when you hear me tell my story, the first couple of minutes of the interview, you'll understand why I'm so excited to pass this on to you. So it's a device it's an app called NuCalm. And I'm telling you, like, you're going to want to have this as a part of your arsenal. This will help you in so many ways. And you'll hear that in the interview, but this is like all the cornerstone areas of your life, whether it's sleep and recovery, which go hand in hand. Nervous system like management, stress management, creativity, productivity, high performance. This app very specifically can tap into each one of those areas and produce really powerful benefits. I've been using it myself since May, and it's just like, you'll hear, it's amazing. So if you hear the interview and you're like, wow, this was really cool, just go to NuCalm. And if you want to sign up for it, use my PBR discount. You'll save 10%. And that would be really cool, because then I also get a small percentage to helps pay for the cost of putting this podcast out. Because just so you know, the podcast does cost money to produce. It's not just time. There's actual, I cut a check every single week to my producer as a part of this process. So to make all of this available to you at no cost to you. So there you go. All right. So sit back, relax, enjoy the ride, and I'll see you on the other side. Jim Poole, welcome to Pickleball Recovery.
Pickleball Recovery. Pleasure to be here. Who knew?
Who knew? You know, with all of the things that you've done and accomplished, little did you know that one day in the summer of 2023, you'd be on Pickleball Recovery. I mean, that's when you know you made it.
It's true. It's aspirational, and I think I've plateaued. And it's true. So
never mind the story of Can that you just told me. It's really today. This was it. So you're welcome.
Yes, thank you.
No, but truly, I'm so excited for us to spend our time together, because our listeners are going to learn a lot. Because in Pickleball Recovery, we're focused on the products and the practices for the 40-plus pickler to help them feel better faster. How do they recover physically faster as they age? Because the problem in pickleball is an overuse problem. It is completely addictive because you feel like a kid again. You haven't had this many friends in 40 years. You get your first name back. You're no longer your kid's mom or kid's dad. And so there's this hyper excitement around it. So people just want to go out and do more of it. What they find is their body is being dragged along, you know, and they're like, what are you doing to me? And so that was my story. And so what I decided was I would take the listener on a journey with me as I figured out how to heal my own body from this terrible affliction called pickleball while still playing. Little did I know that concussion number 21 was waiting for me in the wings a few months ago. And when it happened, I found myself in the emergency room for the third time along that journey. And as you know, with concussion, it's cumulative. And so the symptoms that I was dealing with were some of the scariest I've ever had. The persistent thoughts of dying and killing myself and ending it all came from out of nowhere and visited daily. And that really, you know, got my attention, because that's not how my brain normally works. And so because of the past history of concussion, I knew of some things to do. And of course, I'm very vocal about my struggles on Facebook. I kind of wear my heart on my sleeve to let people know that not all is pretty and sunshine and roses. And it's important to remember that, and humans connect through success, but all through suffering and struggle. One of my dear friends who's a concussion survivor reached out and said, hey, brother, I'm so sorry you're going through it again. Have you heard of NuCalm? And I said, no, what is it? And he said, I got to tell you, I used it after one of my concussions, huge results. I love it. I use it all the time. You got to check it out. You just got to check it out. And I was like, of course, because he and I have shared recovery modalities over the years, and it was like a no-brainer. I trust him implicitly. And so before you know it, I've got the app, and I've ordered my biodiscs, which we will talk about, and I'm using it, and I'm like, I can't believe I never knew about this, given my professional background. How did the universe keep the two of us apart for so long? But that's okay, divine plan and all. So here we are. I used it. So during the first 60 days of my recovery, I was doing about 2 to 5 hours of therapy a day, which included all kinds of different modalities, and including hyperbaric oxygen therapy, ketamine therapy, cerebrolysin, the PEMF, and the sauna, list goes on. But what I noticed was there's often opportunities where I'm lying around for long periods of time in these modalities. And so I started to stack NuCalm with the modalities. And then that created a whole nother level of healing. And from where I was to where I got back within a 60-day period, thanks to, the synergy and using NuCalm, Jim, I was left with a little bit of a feeling of like, did I make that stuff up? Did that really happen? Because I feel so much better, so much faster this time round. I wonder if it was all like, did that really happen? Because there's no way I could have gone from what the symptoms I was experiencing this time around in early May to end of June, fast forward like 8 weeks later. And I was like, I'm about 90%. And I was in the hospital, and in 8 weeks, I'm back to 90%. I mean, my recovery trajectory has never been like this. So I just wanted to jump right out and tell this story, and so that you could get a sense of the background, like why I was so excited to share this with everyone else. Now, there's so many different directions we could take the conversation today, but what I really want to teach my audience about is the role that your nervous system plays on your body's ability to repair, and the role that NuCalm plays in helping to support and regulate the nervous system.
Awesome.
So,
well, first and foremost,
go.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tim didn't find NuCalm because he wasn't looking. We just were hiding. Okay, so we were like a neuroscience company, Willy Wonka style, and literally for 30 years, we were a closed-door insular company. We also, for 14 years, served only exclusively the elite military operators, professional athletes, pilots, doctors, and cancer patients. But as you know, Tim, we used to be a $6,000 FDA Class 3 medical device. So that complication and kind of the way we just helped people was in a finite pattern. It wasn't until November of 2021 when we launched a consumer product through a mobile app and took 33 years of neuroscience and put it into the palm of your hand that people started catching on. So it's not that you weren't looking, we were just hiding and we weren't easy to find. So your experience fills me with gratitude and humility, and just, I love it. And your experience is not different than thousands of athletes we've helped and people coming out of traumatic experiences. Let's start with the physiology of the healing response. And let's start with kind of an area that very few people understand, brainwave function.
Yes.
The human body and brain operate in a frequency, and life is vibration. Einstein made that quote, years ago. Life is vibration. Okay, what does that mean? Well, your body and your brain and your behavior are directly correlated to a certain frequency, and that range is 41 hertz. There are 5 categories of human brainwave function. Now, many of us have heard of delta. Delta is deep sleep. It's the slowest waveform at 0.5 hertz. And when you're in delta at 0.5 hertz to 4 hertz, you're in dreamless-like deep sleep. It's not up for debate. It's physics and math. We know exactly what's happening. Theta is a faster frequency, 4 to 7 hertz, and alpha is 8 to 12 hertz. Those 2 areas are in relaxation, restoration, and recovery. It's in the sleep architecture. So 3 of the 5 categories of brainwave function are in sleep. Then you have beta, which is the broadest range. 12 to 15 hertz is you're awake, but you're not really alert. 15 to 20 is the learning zone. I'd like to learn more about that. What do you mean there's a learning zone? There's a frequency range where my brain learns? Yes, there is. It'd be nice if we all knew that, because then we'd waste a lot less time trying to force learning when we're not in that state. 20 to 25 hertz, a faster frequency, is stress, fear, anxiety, worry, expectation, overwhelm. That's where most of us live every day. Yay! 25 to 30, Tim, is a higher level of stress, fear, anxiety, depression, and worry. And then 30 to 38 hertz is pure fight or flight. Fight, flight, or freeze. All of your mental capacity and resources are gone. If you looked into the eyes of someone in pure fight or flight, they look like a shark. There's no cognition there. They're not available. They're survival. And then, interestingly enough, because the human brain has so many nuances. This is fascinating to me. Above the highest level of stress is this tight zone called gamma, 39 to 41 hertz. And in that state, they have found that it's commensurate with higher consciousness and the meditation of monks, but it also is high intensity, mistake free performance. So when your brain is oscillating at 40 hertz, your gross motor cortex, your sensory motor rhythm, your olfactory, your peripheral vision, everything is amplified.
Nice.
And what I like about that state and why the military have been using that for 6 years and confidentially is that it allows you to be completely decluttered, full activation of your training. There's no insecurity, no self-doubt, there's nothing. You literally have absolute certainty. So, ladies and gentlemen, the human brain and the human being operates in a frequency range of 41 hertz. One thing I like about this is that it's not up for debate.
Yeah.
When your brain is oscillating at 5 hertz, you're healing. When your brain is oscillating at 10 hertz, you're in the creative state of relaxation. When it's at 15 hertz, you're in the low level of learning. When you're at 22 hertz, you're stressed. And 27, you're really stressed. That is a key component because when you are hurt, your body's immune system is amazing, but it's overcompensating. Literally, we say, hey, when you're hurt, your body brings a tank to a knife fight. Doesn't need to come with all this information.
Right.
It does.
Yes.
So when you're concussed, it's the same thing as if you had a hematoma on your left knee. The reason that the recovery is slowed down and the symptoms are worse is that there's nothing there to stop that inflammation. Okay? So if we can resolve the stress, slow down the cortisol, and slow down the inflammation, we accelerate the healing.
Yes.
Now, that's not why NuCalm was invented. NuCalm was invented to treat post-traumatic stress disorder comorbid with addiction. So there are 7 diagnosable anxiety disorders, and of the furthest continuum of the most difficult to live with is trauma.
Yeah.
Okay, great. That's what this was invented for. It took the quantum physicist, neuroscientist 19 years to figure out how to effectively manage human brainwave function with no drugs. For the last 14 years, we've been on a continuous improvement and refinement and innovation pathway where we went from a $6,000 highly regulated class 3 medical device that was not easy to use to a mobile device. And we went from 1 product, Rescue, to 6 products. It took us 32 years. We're a very, very bright neuroscience company that solves complex human problems with complex science. It took us 32 years to map the entirety of human brainwave function. And the reason I share that with you is this. Because sleep is becoming more aware and we're starting to understand the need for recovery and restoration in sleep and meditation and stress management, there's a proliferation of companies that are coming with gadgets and gizmos and apps. They're all crap. And here's why. You don't trick the brain without a significant amount of trial and error, focused intention, discovery, invention, etc. We've been at this for 33 years. I've been lecturing to the scientific community for 14 years on advanced applied neuropsychobiology, how the brain works, how the reticular activating system works, how the corpus callosum works, how the autonomic nervous system works, and then how do we manage that efficaciously.
Yes.
So there's nothing like what we do. And the more you hear about what we do, the more it sounds like, wow, it sounds too good to be true. But you don't get FDA class 3 medical device. You don't get Health Canada, NSF certified for sport, military approval, working with the best athletes in the world, doing 2 million surgical procedures, replacing general anesthesia, listening to Rescue, which is what probably your go-to was in your healing.
Yep.
I'll repeat that. We've done over 2 million surgical procedures with people being cut open without general anesthesia, listening to our physics. That, ladies and gentlemen, is how powerful this is.
Yeah.
So why and how does this work? Dr. Holloway figured out if I can somehow engineer and guide human brainwave function to theta, we win. Because I can take you to the state of healing where the body knows how to put you into balance.
Yes.
You were concussed. The concussive act is a challenge. The inflammation in the brain is a challenge, but also the restriction of blood flow to the prefrontal frontal cortex and the hippocampus. Those are all a problem. But it was really the catalyst of your fear. You're scared of just uncertain. And then as you were having these strange new thought patterns, that exacerbated the fear. That cortisol exacerbates the inflammation. It
Yep.
is a cycle that is not good for you.
That's
Okay.
true.
So what we do in NuCalm is really simple in theory and very complex in science. We bring a tank to a knife fight. Hey, that's the second time you've used that. So the body brings a tank to a knife fight in healing, and we bring a tank to a knife fight to help you manage your brainwave function. Why? Because the brain is really sophisticated and it's smarter than any technology. And it has a compensatory pathway. Anything you do to the brain, it compensates. So you have to have so many layers of understanding of when, where, and how it's going to compensate. It takes a village. So what do we do? We built neuroacoustic software. You've never heard of this term because we invented the term. Neuroacoustic software is physics, algorithms, and mathematics, all designed to present your brain with a signal that your brain follows. We chose to use your ears. You can do this through visual or you can do it through auditory. We chose auditory. You listen to music. The music serves as a distraction and a Trojan horse. We're using music and the auditory motor cortex to bring our math and physics to your brain.
Gotcha.
Humans are easily seduced because we've learned not to want to think anymore. We've been conditioned to have low attention span, and God forbid we read. So when we hear things that sound, hey, that sounds like an easy path, I want to take it, we're seduced by easy. Music, ladies and gentlemen, cannot change your mental state. It is a physiological impossibility. Music can serve as a mood elevator, or it can slow down your mood, right? Chill you out. But it cannot change your state. If you're concussed or you're having a really bad day and your frequency is really high, if I put on Celine Dion, that's not going to take me to theta. In fact, it may make me want to throat punch my grandmother because I'm not a big fan of Celine. So you can't put music on and say, hey, take me to 4 hertz. That's impossible. That will never happen. It can't happen. The brain's like, no. We notice this when you go to work out. So say you're like Tim and I, and you're in that genre where AC/DC gets you pumped up. Okay. It doesn't last that long because the reticular activating system sees a pattern of the same type of music and gets bored. So there's a mood elevator, and maybe dopamine's elicited for a little bit, and then you equilibrate back. So it's kind of like a seesaw with music. That's not what we're doing. We're using advanced physics, mathematics, and algorithms, the only patented software in the world that can elicit a physiological state change in a human underneath the music. In fact, each journey, when you listen to a Rescue 50, it's 1.49 gigabytes. A song's about 5 megabytes. We're talking 333 times the size of a song.
Wow.
That's us bringing a tank to a knife fight.
Yeah.
We have a lot of work to do. And the key here is this. We use 2 forms to present your brain with a pattern, isochronic waveform and binaural signal processing. Many people are getting turned on to binaural beat.
Yep.
The cool compensatory mechanism of the human brain. It was discovered in 1839 by German scientists. And essentially what it does is it tricks the brain by presenting disparate frequencies in each ear.
Yep.
So if we want to drive a beat of 12 hertz, we'll put 512 in your left ear, 500 in your right ear. The brain gets those signals, says, wait a second, there's a dissonance here. It subtracts a difference. It's really cool that the brain does that.
Yeah, totally.
Binaural beat is everywhere. You can get a 99-cent beat tomorrow.
Yep.
It's a simple delivery mechanism. That's like saying, hey, NuCalm was like that. Well, first of all, we're a $6,000 Class 3 medical device for 12 years serving in the military. We're probably a little more sophisticated than a 99-cent app. But that's like eating the delivery person instead of the pizza. We're using binaural signal processing as a delivery mechanism to present the brain with the signal. And the key, Tim, of why NuCalm works and never stops working for you, is that Dr. Holloway understood the brain has something called the reticular activating system.
Yep.
And the reticular activating system is the most powerful filtration system in the world. Pattern recognition and finding shortcuts. This is why the human experience doesn't include a second first impression. You always get the most out of your first impression because your brain is taking all the information in and like a velociraptor, analyzing everything with an exceptional intensity.
Yep.
The RAS, we have the only patent in the world for lowering the stress response without drugs. We have the only patent in the world for improving sleep quality without drugs. And in 2021, we were awarded the only patent in the world for a system and a method used to elicit a state change in a human being. It's amazing. When you look at the patent, you'll see, wait a second, this is really complex physics and I don't really understand it. The whole theme is this. We had to create such a level of dynamic oscillation and constant perpetual movement to trick the RAS.
Mm.
For those of you who've done hollow sync of the Monroe Institute or binaural beats, you'll notice the first time you do something, it's profound.
Yes.
Wow, this is incredible. The second time you listen to it, it's good. The third time you listen to it, say you have a buddy over and I hear, check this out. It doesn't work. Why? Because the RAS has figured out the pattern.
Mm.
So in our physics, it's a constant perpetual dynamic flow. So when you do rescue, the whole physics takes you to 4 hertz, the deepest form of theta, where your body can heal. And in that state, we're constantly moving. 5.1, 3.7, 4.3. Constant moving. So you will never build resistance to the NuCalm neuroacoustic software because of the complexity of the algorithm.
Okay, I want to jump in on this because as a music therapist and my training, I'm like, we call it a biomedical foundations of music therapy. Neuroscience is my jam. So when I'm lecturing, I talk about the RAS also. So I'm so excited right now. I'm like geeking out over this conversation. And one of the problems with music is recognition versus novel music, right? So a different part of the brain will process it once it gets used to that music. And what's fascinating is, as a music therapist, using a device that's using music as a delivery is tricky because my brain is experiencing it and analyzing it both as a consumer and as a professional at the same time, right? It's why doing music therapy with other musicians is often very challenging for the very same reason, because they're analyzing while they're experiencing, and trying to turn that off is very challenging. And so while my analytical music therapist brain can analyze the music signal that you're sending, the content, the pattern, the way that this song, the tempo of the song, the melodic pattern of the piece of music, how it transitions into the next piece of music, that's like just the surface of what's happening. And, the actual delivery, what's happening to my brain, how is all happening underneath that. So despite what my conscious thought is about the music signal, that even if I get bored, because of the number of hours I spent in rescue, I know it all. You know what I mean? Like I know the whole playlist by now. And so, but what's fascinating is if it was just the music, I'd be bored at a certain point and the music effect would not be the same. It would be different. And what I love about this is that it's kind of, like you said, it's a trick. It's a distraction, right? It's holding my attention on something. It's giving it a little morsel to chew on. But while it's delivering the actual goods underneath it in a way that my conscious brain, my RAS is not even processing what's going on under that. It's really just thinking about, it's having this conversation about the music content itself. So I think that's really fascinating.
We see that a lot. We actually have built some specific non-melodic tracks for professional musicians for that purpose alone.
Just to keep them guessing.
You'll notice this too. One of the manifestations of the nonlinear oscillating algorithm, the constant change, is that in NuCalm, you can't stay linear on a thought. Have you noticed that? You can have all these thoughts, but you can't stay on a thought pattern.
Oh, that's interesting.
Because your RAS is trying to figure out the pattern. So it takes you on this kind of mind-wandering journey. But you'll notice, I'll share with you guys some secret sauce. Theta is the healing zone. It's a certain frequency. It's in a lucid dream state, so it's difficult to articulate. It's just above deep sleep, but it's lucid dream state. And in that state, your respiration slows down to 1 breath every 10 seconds, allowing your body to oxygenate the highest level of volumetric oxygen your body can absorb, because oxygen is the healing element for human beings.
Yes.
So we're helping you restore and oxygenate, which is healing. And in that respiration and mind wander, there's a separation. And at 8 minutes of the rescue journey, you're in full theta. You literally can feel the gravitational force of 9.2 meters per second squared. Wow, that's what gravity feels like? Because I feel like I'm falling into my bed. I can't feel my arms anymore. That takes us 8 minutes to get there. Why? because your central nervous system has a locus of control. We
Mhm.
can't just grab you and take you on an elevator.
Right.
Hey, we're going to take you to theta. We have to take you down, take you up, take you down, take you up, take you down, take you up. It's like seeking permission from your central nervous system to say, hey, this is okay and this is safe. We're taken to a healing state. You have to trust us. It takes us 8 minutes to do that. Then for the duration of rescue, you're in at 4 hertz.
All right.
You are healing on a cellular level. According to our research at NASA and Harvard in 2013, 20 minutes of NuCalm is equivalent to 2 hours of restorative sleep. Not 2 hours of the total sleep architecture, the sweet spot of sleep, because that's theta. So the key for your audience to understand, post 40, pickleball addict, right? You've got PBD, pickleball disease, right? It's going to enter in the DSM-5. Pickleball disease. I can't stop playing. It's like a Labrador with a tennis ball.
Yes.
The key is this. If you can use meditation, you can use Tai Chi, you can use yoga, or you can use a tech like this.
Yep.
The key to healing and recovering fast and making sure that you don't have profound, long problems is down regulating the stress response immediately.
Yep.
Which is some of the hardest things for us to do.
Yes.
Because our mind has incredible captive audience of saying, hey, this sucks. And oh my God, what is happening to me? Oh,
yeah.
You can downregulate the stress response immediately post the injury. And then on a daily basis, downregulate the stress response. You improve the body's ability to heal.
Yes.
It's direct correlation. Furthermore, sleep, and why sleep is so important, is that it's the only time your cells clean their toxins and your mitochondria is restored.
Yes.
Sleep has the healing zone of theta. It's the only time in our daily function as a human that we're in that zone. If we were to live to be 100, we should sleep for 33 years. So intuitively, we should understand this might be an important aspect of the human condition.
Totally.
Crazy as it is, we've only been studying sleep for 40 years. It's still the Wild West. So if you can combine stress management with restorative sleep, you heal faster. But furthermore to that, after puberty, when we're hormonally dysregulated, we tend as a human population to sleep worse. And that cumulative negative consequence of not sleeping is what allows the door to open to disease.
Yes.
So most of us in our 40s or 50s are starting to feel inflammation on a regular basis. It's not if I'm going to feel pain in the morning, it's which body part's going to hurt the most, right?
Right.
So you're a therapist. My therapist is like, hey, does this hurt? It's kind of screaming at me. I said, no, whatever yells the loudest gets my attention, right?
Yeah.
So the key here for us to help healing, help suffering, help mental acuity, help psychological health and physical health, longevity, resilience, is to lower your stress response, which lowers your inflammation, which allows you to heal faster. The more we can get you into theta, the more balanced you become. And we tell people all the time, like next Monday, I'll be lecturing to about 25 people with stage 4 cancer. I'm not here to cure you of cancer, but I know the body can heal you if we can liberate your monkey mind, which is fear, stress, and anxiety, and give you restorative sleep. That's incredible. Yes. Every day for the rest of their life, they're going to use NuCalm Rescue every day and deep sleep at night. Why? Because stress has never taken a holiday. If you look in your calendar, Tim, next week it doesn't say stress is taking the week off. It doesn't work that way.
Nope.
NuCalm on a daily basis will literally come in. We don't manage your stress. We have solved it. We go right to the amygdala and the HPA axis of the primordial midbrain, our whole stress response. You hear that caveman talk, right? Well, the caveman brain has evolved too strongly and it overrides our prefrontal cortex. We go right into it and say, hey, amygdala and caveman, go sit at the kids' table. The adults are talking. Yeah. That's what we do with advanced physics through a mobile app and a headphone. We can do all of these things to take care of you with no drugs.
Yeah, so brilliant. So brilliant. I am a diplomat of the American Institute of Stress. And so, we talk about stress and HPA axis and all these things and how they affect our body, the physiological impact of stress, not just the mental impact. And one of the things that I don't think people really understand is there's this joke, which is, how do you boil a frog? Do you know the answer to that? Have you heard this one?
How?
Slowly. The nervous system of a frog, if you put a frog in hot water, its reflexes, it jumps right out. If you put it in room temperature water and you slowly turn up the temperature, its nervous system doesn't notice until it's dead. That's humans trying to keep up with the technology and the pace of 21st century living. Our nervous system has not evolved as fast as our technology, and we are overloaded with decision fatigue and with chronic stress. And as you know, with chronic stress, your inflammation goes up and your immune system goes down. So you can't heal and you get worse. And what people don't understand is it's just the cultural current we're all trying to swim in is already overloading our nervous system's ability to recover. And so it's no longer a case where you can do it on your own. You can't keep up. We are all like a fish eats and poops in the same place. And so the water of the fish, the health of that water determines the health of that fish. For humans, that's culture. The culture we live in is the water we swim in. And so our culture at this point is this toxic environment, whether it's the food, the lack of sleep, the exposure to social media, just the exposure to information, just information fatigue on the prefrontal cortex stresses us out, right? The perceived threats versus the actual threats. Like we're not outrunning tigers anymore. But what are the tigers of the 21st century? You know, what are the things that are eliciting this chronic stress response in everybody? And by the time you are 40 and 50, like when I worked in oncology, the average age of my clients and patients was 58.5 because it had been building and building and building. And it's a long-term process, right? And they didn't know how to counteract that. And so what NuCalm presents is a repeatable, consistent, validated technique for undoing the exhaustion and the overwhelm that the nervous system is experiencing just living the modern life. Now, throw on top of that a specific behavior that puts an additional amount of stress on the body. Now, you know, so I all right, tangent. I'm sponsored on the PPA tour, which is one of the professional tours. And I work at a booth with one of the companies that I'm sponsored by. We created an all natural pain and recovery cream, and it has a patent. Similarly, it actually heals the damaged tissue causing the inflammation and the pain. But half of the conversations I have, Jim, are interventions. Like, well, I have to talk about, okay, how many hours a day do you play? How many days a week? Because pain is a signal. It's a messenger and you're not listening. And I'm not going to sell you this product because your behavior is just going to undo it. And then you're going to blame me like you're a snake oil salesman. I'm like, no, you're overdoing it. Right. So like, how do we manage that? But pickleballers be crazy, Jim. We're not going to stop. We're not going to rest. So that's why I'm like, okay, since I know this, because I know myself, what are the things that are going to promote that recovery faster so that we can try to keep up with what we love, but also just the modern life and the modern world we're living in.
Yes. Yes.
Let's talk. You mentioned rescue.
Yes.
And so let's talk a little bit about what rescue is specifically. And then you also have other channels within NuCalm and what they are, what they promote, how they help. And then once we do that, I want to talk about the role that this little decal, what looks like on YouTube, a decal on my arm, what I'm wearing, the biodisc, and the evolution of that and what that does, because this is some serious science, ladies and gentlemen, that's sitting on my arm right now.
It is. All right. So we took the concept of taking advanced physics and mathematics and algorithms in a software, put it to music. Now the music, Tim, takes us 11 months to 26 months to create a single journey.
Wow.
It's incredible. It's literally like neurosurgery. Our music producers and our musicians and our engineers, they get a mathematical matrix. So at minute 0, it's 15 hertz frequency, 161.9 pitch. And they have to follow and compose music in the solfeggio scale of 432 or 528 or 285. And then they add in, you'll notice, because you're a musician, you'll notice there's a ton of environmental sounds as well. What we're doing is, as soon as you start feeling an emotional attachment to a melody, you'll notice it shifts.
Yep.
You want to fully disengage your mind. So Dan Celine, our music producer, for years, he was one of the leaders of the genre of new age music in the 90s. They went around the world with a 3D holophonic microphone and audio taped some of the world's most incredible environmental sounds, like cicadas in Sedona, Big Sur at sunrise. So some of the elements that are in, like one, Rescue 50 has 58 recorded tracks in one song.
Wow.
58. So it's very complicated, but we have a mobile app. The reason we did a mobile app wasn't because, hey, we're not satisfied selling a $6,000 costly medical device. The reason is we want to help people.
Yep.
And we have to make it so easy. So this is like Sesame Street. Okay?
Yes,
It's color coded and it's very easy to use. We don't need to complicate stuff. When people are really stressed out, then they just want to get to the track. So
do me a favor. Hold yours up a sec, because this makes a great screenshot. Let me hold mine up. Yeah, there we go. Awesome. Boom. Thank you. Love it. That was fun.
So in the app, you simply choose Rescue. Rescue is the key therapy for all humans. The key therapy for all humans. Why? Because it downregulates your stress. It erases anxiety, fear, insecurity. It declutters your mind and it oxygenates your forehead. This is what separates us from primates. This area of our brain, our prefrontal and frontal cortex, is what you want oxygen in. And the challenge is when we're stressed, the amygdala, that primordial midbrain, sucks the resources from your forehead. That's how it all happens. It's like resource allocation. Yep. Who's going to win the battle today on this random Thursday of oxygen-rich red blood? So Rescue is designed to gently guide you into the deepest forms of theta, just above deep sleep. We don't want you to fall into deep sleep. That's not as restorative on a cellular basis. We want to keep you in Rescue. Your mind wanders, your body feels heavy. It's an immersive experience. Yep. You want to find a safe, comfortable place. It can be anywhere. Like tomorrow I fly to Alaska, I'll be NuCalming on the plane.
Nice.
On an eye mask, nice headphone, you select play, we do all the work. You simply set it and forget it. You don't have to do anything. We're going to take you to a monk-like meditative state with no effort. Your mind just wanders and you go on a journey. Rescue is the key therapy. It's what we use in cancer, multiple sclerosis, trauma, addiction. It's what we use with active military, the professional athletes, the pilots. Everybody, we recommend Rescue every day.
Nice.
Because like you said, I can go learn to meditate like a monk, but I'm going to sacrifice years of service to do that. I'm not going to do that. Yep. I can go be a Tai Chi master. I'm not going to do that. So I use tech to help guide me.
Nice.
Okay. In that same vein of the rest of the Rescue and the restorative zone, we have Power Nap. Power Nap we designed, Tim, because we love data and we love seeing the habit creation. Okay. We've got millions of NuCalm experiences, 1,250,000 minutes a day around the world, 6 continents. So we can see a lot of data.
It's an amazing stat.
So here's what we learned. You ready? Sometimes people don't think they're worth 1/48th of the day to take care of themselves.
Yeah.
Seems insane.
Yeah.
I don't want 30 minutes. Do you know how important I am? I'm like, okay. So we literally created a 20-minute power nap because of today's contemporary society.
Yep.
And we tell people, literally, if you don't have 30 minutes a day, just give us 20. It's a replica of the Rescue, but it's faster. It's like a concentrated version of Rescue. Okay. If we can at least get that 20 minutes, we can give you 2 hours of restorative sleep.
Amazing.
So that's Power Nap. Same immersive experience. Eye mask, headphone, press play. Then we have Flow State. Flow State is pretty wild. I don't want to get too technical, but there's a Schumann resonance frequency of the Earth. Okay, it's a certain frequency. It's called the Schumann resonance. It's 7.83 hertz. It's essentially the intersection between alpha and theta. Well, guess what resonance your body vibrates at? 7.83 hertz. We're all kind of related through math. Okay, Flow State takes you to this calm, relaxed state, and it opens the door to your creativity and your inspiration. We hold you in the Schumann resonance of 7.83 hertz.
That's great.
Flow has been used by a lot of musicians, and actors, and writers, and they love it. It's a preparatory thing. It's still immersive. You lie down, eye mask, headphone, and all we're doing is decluttering your mind, getting rid of procrastination, expectation, all that stuff that really impacts the creative mind. It says, here, let's flow. Let's get into flow. Those are 3 for Rescue. Then we have Deep Sleep. Deep Sleep is the most complicated physics we've ever created. It took us 9 years to create this.
Wow.
Why? Because we didn't want you to have to go to sleep with a headphone on. That seemed like it would be a little bit inconvenient.
that's kind of a deal breaker.
Low. So we're using isochronic waveform and binaural signal processing through a speaker. You just have a speaker in your bedroom. Any speaker will, and we put you to sleep. It's like Maxwell's silver hammer comes down upon your head. It's amazing. Literally, I don't remember falling asleep for like the last 3 or 4 years. Twice,
Nice.
I was watching UFC in my bed, which I shouldn't do, with an iPad, and it smashed my nose.
Oh my gosh.
I fell asleep. I was like, Deep sleep is an 8-hour journey. You select it. It helps you fall asleep. But more importantly, when you get up to use the restroom in the night, it puts you back to sleep. There's no more perseverating over shit you can't solve at 2:30 in the morning. You simply go back to sleep. And you wake up, you actually feel rested. Hey, that's what I'm supposed to feel like. The combination of rescue during the day and deep sleep at night is the combination for sleep therapy. That's how we improve your sleep quality. We improve your REM. We reduce your sleep latency. We improve your deep sleep, your efficiency, and you actually start dreaming again. What?
That's amazing. That's amazing.
You start dreaming again? Yeah, you can start dreaming again. Then we have 2 action channels, and these are good for the pickleball disease because these will activate you.
Yes.
Focus, you could probably put in earbuds and play pickleball with focus. Focus channels your brainwave function to 15 to 20 hertz. Remember I mentioned a learning zone?
Yep.
That's 15 to 20 hertz. In that zone, there's no clutter. There's no expectation. There's no what's for dinner. There's no nothing. It's full mental clarity, comprehension, and concentration, encoding new information, and consolidating it into memory.
Wow.
I use focus all day long with a headphone or with a speaker. And someone we just interviewed says, hey, I get 2 hours of work done in 45 minutes. I mean, this is insane. Highly efficient mental focus. People don't know this. People don't know there's a mental state for learning. Yeah. We have burned so many calories and so much time in our life trying to learn when we're anxious, trying to learn when we're worried, trying to learn when we're exhausted, trying to learn when we feel isolated or depressed. Don't bother.
Yep.
You're not consolidating shit to memory when you're not in the state to learn. Yep. So don't waste your time.
Don't do it.
Lastly, and you probably love this one, and I know a lot of people do.
Yep.
Ignite.
Yep.
Ignite.
Unstoppable.
Activate you, and whatever you're doing, your endurance, your strength, and your output will be improved dramatically. When we're working out, pickleball is a little different, but when we're working out and doing isolated stuff like riding a bike or running, within a few minutes, lactic acid starts building up in our muscles. And we start in conversations with ourselves like, why am I doing this? This doesn't feel good.
No.
What's another reason how I can get out of this faster?
Right.
Ignite says, shut your pie hole. You're going to crush it. You're crushing it. I'm not having any dialogue of self-doubt. Yep. I will feel absolutely certain or unstoppable.
Yes.
And I will run through brick walls.
Yep.
We've been using this since 2017 with the elite military operators and professional athletes. We didn't release this to the public until 2021.
Okay.
It's because it was weird. We're in the health and wellness and balance, therapy, healing from disease, keeping you alive. Ignite, people love Ignite because they love adrenaline. They can feel adrenaline. We're like, we don't want to go out there and burn people's adrenals out. So we didn't launch it until November of 2021. And you'll notice on there, Tony Robbins and I are on 2 of the journeys. We trained the Washington Capitals together. They went and won the Stanley Cup. We trained the Golden State Warriors together in a hotel for 5 hours. That's gratitude. They went out and won the NBA World Championship. So we took Tony's NLP and his training and put it on top of our physics to create arguably the most powerful mind control ever created.
Wait, so which one is Tony on?
Certainty and gratitude.
Okay. All right.
You have this guy who's 6'7", 285 pounds yelling at you.
Oh,
you're guaranteed to break you're guaranteed to break your personal record.
Absolutely.
Say yes.
Oh, yes.
So,
I'm a firewalker. I know.
Oh, are you? Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So let me just repeat this to you. So Tony and I have been friends for about 8 years. He started his NuCalm journey in May of 2015.
I saw his testimonial, by the way. It was really profound.
He's amazing. I love Tony.
He is amazing.
My role in his life is to keep him alive and function at the highest level so he can help as many humans as possible.
And he's does.
Amazing. And he sacrifices way too much. So, listen, just do this and we got you.
Yep.
So a simple repeat. There are 6 channels that cover all 5 categories of brainwave function. That took us 32 years to figure out. There's deep sleep. You play with a speaker at night, no headphone, no eye mask. Simple. and it's the most profound, most used. Then rescue, power nap, and flow state are immersive experience, safe, comfortable place, eye mask, headphone, press play. That is the balance. That is the resilience. That is the lowering inflammation. That is the health, longevity, staving off disease. That's a really important one. You may want to entertain that aspect.
Yeah.
Focus for getting work done mentally, and ignite for running across the world. You know, you may have seen William Gu just ran across the United States 8 days sooner than he thought he did. I think he did it in 56 days. He ran across the United States, 3,200 miles. He did rescue every day, deep sleep at night, but he did ignite when he needed that extra push. I'm dragging. I'm starting to mentally lose it.
Yep.
Boom.
Yep.
That's it. I'll just, one more thing here, because I like this. Now, I can share applied neuropsychobiology with the best of you, and we can talk science all day. I find that to be not important to most humans. What I find important to most humans is how easy is it to use? What can I expect? What's it going to do for me? What's it cost? Okay.
Yeah.
So this book was written by the illustrious Dr. Michael Gallitzer and Larry Trivieri. Larry Trivieri has written over 40 books, and Michael Gallitzer is an incredible doctor in Los Angeles. He's the one who introduced Tony Robbins. So these guys wrote the book. This is The Invention Path to NuCalm. It simplifies complex neuroscience, but also talks about the biology and etiology of addiction. Really good book. So I called Tony Robbins and said, hey, Tony, Michael's writing a book. I'd like you to write the foreword. He wrote the foreword.
Nice.
9 years ago, we started working with monks. I didn't invent NuCalm, so I love pushing the limits of this and trying to figure out all the nuances of it.
Yep.
So the Yogananda monk who trained the Beatles on meditation wrote the preface. So let me get this straight. You have a book about neuroscience where a nuclear reactor of energy, Tony Robbins, wrote the foreword, and a monk wrote the preface, both using the same tech to derive benefit. The point is this. For 14 years, I've traversed this earth. I've been all over the world. I've lectured to thousands and thousands of people. Not one person I've met is effectively managing stress. Not one. Even monks. So the key is this. Understand the humility that we're all human.
Yep.
The negative consequence of not managing stress and not sleeping well will eventually have detrimental impact on us, and it'll be in the form of a nasty disease.
Yep.
We don't want that.
Nope.
So we need to wake up. For me personally, Tim, it was a challenge. I didn't ever want to waste 20 minutes to 30 minutes. I wasn't a napper. Napping was like a failure to me.
Sure.
It took me 7 months running this company and realized, wait a second. If I invest 30 minutes of rescue, it repays me with like 10 hours of incredible, efficient clarity and performance.
Totally.
That's why I use it. But along the way, it's helped keep me healthy in a lifestyle that's not. I travel about 300 days a year.
Woo.
Healthy lifestyle.
Yeah, but that's challenging.
It's challenging. So
talk to me about what I'm wearing. What is this thing?
So in the clinical product of NuCalm, we were doing surgical interventions, literally putting people in a state of relaxation for surgery.
Yep.
We needed to bring a tank to a knife fight. And the brain and the body communicate in two ways and two ways only: chemical messaging and electrical messaging. Mm-hmm. The software is the electrical messaging. Okay. We used to have a chewable tablet that was filled with GABA. And if you just take a supplement, the body has not evolved to extract a high yield from a supplement. Yeah. You're literally eating out about 93% of the supplement. Yeah. Now, you can just look in the toilet and say, hey, buy $100 of supplements, because your body's only taking in about 7%, whether it's crossing the blood-brain barrier, whether it's the metabolic process, or whatever.
Yep.
We had a stimulation device. This stimulation device was a low-level microcurrent, and the stimulation device electrophoreated the cell wall membrane and created a higher absorption rate. So we got immediate access to GABA-A to your brain immediately in a clinical environment. What we found was people didn't want to chew something, hold it in their mouth for 2 minutes. Nobody likes being told what to do. So we're like, okay, this is creating stress preoperatory. We moved to a transdermal cream. We took all the elements. There's 5 amino acids in this kind of supplement. And we put a transdermal cream and you put it on your neck. But we still needed that stimulation device. And that stimulation device, Tim, was a class 3 highly regulated medical device.
Got it.
The highest regulation in the world. It made us be FDA and all that stuff. And it made us expensive and complicated. So 5 years of invention, Dr. Holloway figured out, I don't need the body to metabolize anything. I don't need to cross a blood-brain barrier. Everything in this world is vibration. So he went back to the work of Nikola Tesla and George Lakhovsky and said, everything is vibration, everything is a frequency. So he spent over a year with a Chinese Shenzhen medicine expert and a German physicist, and they located the specific frequencies of GABA A, GABA B, L-theanine, casein tryptic hydrolysate, and L-tyrosine. It was a cornucopia of an amazing amino acid inhibitory neurotransmitters designed to go right to your HPA axis and say, stop, no more adrenaline, shut it down.
Yes. Yes.
So then we created the disc. Now, the disc we could probably sell to a nutritional company for $1 trillion because you don't have to take a transdermal cream. You don't have to take a chewable supplement. You don't have to do a liposomal. We go right to the frequency. So that disc, it looks like a sticker. It's circular.
Yep.
It is some of the most complicated quantum physics in the history of this planet.
Wow.
What did we do? We located the specific frequency. We did alchemy, and we have a software. In a Tesla coil, it's imprinted on top of a 6-layer multi-wave oscillator. That's a standalone charger. It's a standalone semiconductor. It was invented by George Okovsky, the Russian physicist, in the 1930s.
Wow.
So the design is metallic. It's holding a charge, and it's holding information in the form of frequency for your brain. When you apply it to your left wrist on the pericardium 6, within a second, the cells in your brain are oscillating at the frequency of GABA. We're activating your natural GABAergic system.
Nice.
We're shutting down your adrenaline. One of the keys to the disc today is it doesn't come in the consumer product anymore because unless you're in a surgical environment, you have cancer, or you're military or a pilot, you don't need it. It's about 5% of the efficacy. But
Gotcha.
one of the values of the disc is when you're healing from an injury, but also most people are deficient in GABA. And GABA's primary role in our daily function is to the onset of sleep, helping you declutter your brain. So the more you do NuCalm, the more we supersaturate your brain with GABA, the more restorative sleep you get. So that'll improve your REM. It'll improve your stress management. It'll improve your digestion. I know for me, I use the disc every time I rescue. And I don't know about you, but I have to get up and run to the bathroom because it accelerates your rest and digest. And I drink water all the time. So when I'm up from NuCalm, I'm like, I got to use the bathroom, or I need to wear a diaper because it's very powerful.
Yes.
The disc is amazing. We sell about $100,000 in discs alone in our store. Nothing to do with the subscription anymore.
Got it.
That's how people love the disc. It's so easy. It literally just takes the edge off. GABA is the body's primary inhibitory neurotransmitter. For the last 50 years, our food supply has been diminished in GABA. So we all have metabolic acidosis. We have too much cortisol in our gut and our microbiome. This GABA resolves that. So the disc is incredible. It's basically a side project for us at this point. Our focal point is really on the physics and being able to manage and have you dial up or dial down. This phone is now a remote control for your brain. I don't need coffee. I don't need a Monster energy drink. I don't need alcohol. I don't need any of that. All that was externally managing my mental state.
Totally.
I can do physics.
Oh yeah. I mean, we all live in Alice in Wonderland where it's like, eat this, drink that. If I want to upregulate my state or my awareness, like what do I crank up with? Like, sugar, caffeine, right? If I want to downregulate, what am I going to knock myself out with? Alcohol, right? And you go to a convenience store, there's no food in a convenience store. It's just a drug delivery. It's a drugstore. It's just delivering caffeine, nicotine, alcohol, taurine, sugar, and more sugar. I mean, don't, like if you want food, don't go to a convenience store. They don't sell any. So it's food-like products, and so like for me, learning how to upregulate and downregulate, I didn't know, like most of us, I'm just trained as a consumer to consume things. And I didn't realize, that there are much more advanced yet more direct ways to do that. And now NuCalm is part of that suite of things that I reach for that I know work fast.
It's predictable. It's safe. It's easy. It's affordable now. So it's no longer a $6,000 Class 2 medical device. And March 1st, we lowered the price even further. You can join the NuCalm family for as low as $15 a month, which for you mathematicians is 50 cents a day.
Brilliant.
You can join one of the plans. Sleep Suite is our most popular because sleep is such a profound problem. We will resolve your sleep, period. It's not up for debate. Rescue during the day, deep sleep at night. Time will take its toll and you'll be sleeping well. That's $30 a month, $1 a day. or you can have access to our entire suite for $50 a month, which is $1.67 a day. We can't get any cheaper.
Yep.
Can't get any easier, but we can continue to get stronger. We just released the new Rescue 30.
Yeah.
And as a musician, I can talk to you offline, some of the cool stuff we do, but we have the most powerful platform. We have the most powerful physics in history.
Yep.
We add stuff in. We'll add stuff like a recording of the tambura instrument because it helps with vibration.
Nice.
Or we'll record the Tuvan throat singers.
Yes.
Or we'll build tuning forks in 432 hertz with a physicist in France. So
Brilliant.
All these ways for us to, all we want to do is strengthen the vibration so your brain just feels safe and easily guided to the outcome that you select.
Yeah. And most importantly for the nervous system is just that the nervous system feels safe. When it feels safe, it switches back to its restorative gear, which we know as the parasympathetic nervous system, or rest and digest, but it should really be rest, digest, and repair. I mean, those three words should really be said every time because rest, it doesn't really truly convey what's happening when we rest, right? Like when you sleep, it's just like if you set your dishwasher for like the time delay to run overnight to clean your dishes, your brain's doing the exact same thing. It's cleaning out all the toxins in the system. And that's how repair happens. Can't happen with all those toxins in there. Jim, this is like been so much fun. Where do people find NuCalm and find you and find out more?
www.nucalm.com. NuCalm.com.
Awesome.
We, for 33 years, for 31 of them, served only the medical community. Our website used to have 321 pages of research. I mean, nerd alert. We now have a more consumer-friendly website, but we also have a section in there called Neuroscience and Research, which I think you've visited.
I've been to,
Filled with stuff.
Nerds only.
Research, nerds only, videos. We're here to simply say, hey, I believe at some point in the near future, Dr. Blake Holloway will earn a Nobel Peace Prize posthumously. Why? Wow. Because he figured out how to regulate up and down the brainwave and allow you not to have to use sugar and caffeine and stuff. We've done this for the specific profile of trauma, but we found that it helped everybody. And then we've expanded the portfolio to map all 5 categories of brainwave. We want this to be easy. We want NuCalm to be reliable for you, safe. And listen, you bring this into your life, it changes your life. Will you be able to articulate to your friends? No, you won't, because there's nothing to compare it to. That's the challenge of being a pioneer. There's never been anything to compare NuCalm to. If I was forced to, Tim, I'd say drugs and alcohol, because alcohol is a very effective approach of sedating your psychic pain. It works like a charm. It just happens.
That's why it works. Exactly.
Exactly. So this is an incredible tool. It's not the be all end all, right? You can do meditation, you can do Tai Chi, you can do mindfulness. It has the same express benefit and physiological outcome of mindfulness as if you were a monk. It just happens to be a tech that's for today's contemporary society where we're too busy, but we need to make time to take care of ourselves. And that's just the way it is. So pickleball disease, it's rampant. It's taking over. Pickleballitis is taking over. I totally get it. And you simply have to take care of yourselves, people. You know the old saying, my mind was writing checks, my body couldn't cash.
That's exactly it.
None of us need to live like that. There are tools out there, and follow Tim's guidance, because he's out there finding, like an archaeologist, like Indiana Jones, the tools to help you with your pickleballitis. And there's other things that you could become itises of that would be a lot more damaging. So congratulations on finding something that you love. Keep playing, but also have balance, nutrition, sleep, and take care of your sympathetic nervous system.
That's it.
Down-regulate it, man. Manage your stress, people, and everything's better.
That's it. Jim, thank you so much for joining us on Pickleball Recovery.
Pickleball.
Thanks so much for listening. Did you know there's one place on the web for all your recovery needs? It's at www.pickleballrecovery.com. You'll find all the products I personally use and recommend, along with exclusive discounts on many of them. as well as my blog where I help you make sense out of all the different products and practices out there to keep you moving and feeling better so you play better. After all, your body is the most expensive piece of equipment you own. Also, do you want to know the number one mistake picklers make that leads to increased pain, soreness, stiffness, and injury? Just head over to pickleballrecovery.com and download my free guide to playing with less pain and more enjoyment. Listen, pickleball makes us feel young at heart, but not young in body. So go download my free guide at www.pickleballrecovery.com. See you next time.